जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रजजनराञ्जन यशोदानंदन व्रजजनरञ्जन जय राधा माधव जय बिहारी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय कुंज बिहारी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीरावन चंद्रमणि यमुना तीरावन हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम जय राम गोकुलनंदना हरे जय राम गोकुलनंदना जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रमा जय सुदर्शन जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रमा जय सुदर्शन रजनी ताई गौरंगो निताई गौरंगो निताई गौरंगो जय जय निताई गौरंगो जय निताई गौरंगो जय जय निताई गौरंगो जय जय निताई गौरंगो जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय मेरा जय गुरुदेव निताई गौर हरि गौर हरि श्री राधा गोकुल श्री 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 कृष्ण बलदेव सुब्रमण्य श्री प्रपात की जनता गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि। Thank you. I would like to thank you all devotees, wonderful devotees, for uh, giving your valuable time on this Saturday morning. And I thank, special thank to Leela Prabhuji for giving me this opportunity, this service. So we have to read Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, the creation of the fourth order, chapter 23. Right now, Mataji? Maharaj Prithu going back to home.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So I will share my screen. Yes. Hare Krishna. I hope you all can see now. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So before starting discussion on the subject, we will just take blessing from our Guru Parampara, and we will just recite some common prayers together. Yeah. So you no need to unmute because it will be confusion. So I'll recite here, and you all can recite at your respective place. Om Ajnanatimirandasya ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिता कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टुकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रहे। नमो महापदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्वैषे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्य देवाय गुरु ब्राह्मणाहिताय च जगद्धिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांता स्वामी नीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Vande Shri Guru Timbai, Shri Ramanand Madhavam, Shri Chaitanya, Ishwar Gomba Pavitra Pavitra Vasava Vastha Yasmani Pundit Nakshat, Shri Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. Hare Krishna. Okay. Yes. So this chapter is dealing with Maharaj Prithu going back to whom? Back to Godhead. So actually, this is actually very related chapter to all of us because we are also following the path, footsteps of great Acharya like Maharaj Prithu, who is a great devotee. He is Shakti Avesha avatar of Lord himself. And he's teaching through his own example how to go back to home, back to God. And we all want to go back to right? We all want to go, yes. So it's very important. And the last of the chapter, Prabhupada told that anybody who just listen, no need to do anything, just listen at 3 times now, is sure to going back to home, back to God. So just by listening. So this is how the beauty of our Shastra, just by listening, even we are not able to follow nothing, just have to listen sincerely with full conviction, and that's all. However, back to home, back to Godhead is guaranteed. So that's how the powerful is our Shastras. So we should not doubt on this, and we should just listen with rapt attention. And what I request you, after listening this, we should listen to some great persons, Nyasis or somebody lectures 2 more times. So once we listen 3 times means we are done. That's all. We will read in the last of the chapter at the end. Yeah, so here is the text number 1, 2, 3. Maitreya Uvacha, because we know the context from previous verses, the conversation between Maitreya going on. Now Maitreya Muni is telling this story. So, Drishtvatam Panam Pravasyam Ekada Vaina Atmana Atmanya Vardhi Tashtera Swanu Sarga Prajapati Jagatastastascha Chapi Prittido Dharma Bhitsatam Nishpadite Shware Desho Yat Artham Iha Jajnivan Atmajeshu Atmajam Nyasya Virahad Rudhatam Iva Prajassu Vimanashva Ekaha Sadarogata Tapo Vanam. So here we'll read the translation purport by Jivangesh Prabhupada. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. So Prabhupada is sharing here in the translation. At the last stage of his life, when Maharaj Prithu saw himself getting old, the great soul who was king of the world divided whatever opulence he had accumulated among all kinds of living entities, moving and non-moving. He arranged pensions for everyone according to religious principles, and after executing the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in complete coordination with him, he dedicated his son unto the earth, which was considered to be his daughter. Then Maharaj Prithu left the presence of his citizens, who were almost lamenting and crying from feeling separation from the king, and went to the forest alone with his wife to perform austerities. So I'll read from book also, because actually in the beginning I marked in the book. Later I will see from the PDF on this. Yeah. So in purport, I'll just because it's a very long chapter and I have given service to complete the whole chapter. So I'll just take the main points from the purport, and I will not say they're important, but because everything is important. Whatever Prabhupada gives, everything is important. So I'll request the devotees, when they read the book, then they read in detail. Now, in this, for the sake of time, we'll just cover the important small points from the purport, and we'll just move ahead. So in purport, Prabhupada is explaining that he had been exemplary in the governmental administration. Now he was to become exemplary in his retirement. So this is what like devotees like. Where I can find here. Yeah, here I can see. What Prithu Maharaj Prabhupada is writing here. Exemplary in retirement. Yeah. So this is the way the devotees should set the example in every sphere of life. When they are when a person is small, he is supposed to be in brahmachari ashram. So a person who is devotee, even rather irrespective of his ashram, he should always be exemplary. It should be the best out of that. So when for most of us we are in grahast ashram, so we should be best in the grahast ashram right now, and later following the footsteps of Prithu ashram, we should plan our retirement also, and we should be very, very best in that also. That's what Prabhupada is telling, that a devotee is always the best wherever he do, whatever he do, because his whole life is totally dedicated in service Krishna. And one more important instruction Prabhupada is giving to us here. I'll try to find it. Actually, I marked in the book from the beginning. Once again. One should not simply yeah. One should not simply remain at home until the time of death, but should separate from family at the timely moment and prepare himself to go back to Godhead. So actually, if we see that, we can say that this was true at the time of Prithu Maharaj, or maybe just 200-300 years ago. But today's time, place, and there is no jungle, there is no village. So actually, it's true. But separate from family, more than external, it should be internal. So we should be externally, we should do whatever we are, but internally we should be totally detached from everything, and our whole concentration should be in service of Krishna. That's what is the best what I can understand, and what I understand from our present Acharya, that externally we may not be able to show the detachment, but that detachment should develop automatically internally, and we should not imitate. And moreover, we are very lucky to be in the footsteps of Prabhupada, in the lineage of Prabhupada through ISKCON, that the detachment, what Prabhupada explains, is more and more attachment towards Krishna. So that's what we have to develop. Attachment towards Krishna means attachment towards Krishna's pastime, hearing, reading Bhagavatam, attachment towards Archa Vigraha Seva, attachment towards serving prasad and doing more and more services. So that's what actually is one prastha for all of us right now in this present age. So this is the beauty of Acharya, that although the Prithu Maharaj followed billions of years ago, same thing Prabhupada has explained to us, that we can follow in today's time, place, and circumstances also. And that's how Prabhupada has given everything is in books. And here it is more important instruction. It is very, here Prabhupada is telling clearly that to all of us, indeed, it was compulsory for everyone to go to the Tapovana to fully accept the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for it is very difficult to retire from family life and at the same time remain at home. So yeah, this is important, but it is difficult. But in today's time, place, and circumstances, it's very, there is no tapovana actually. So ideally, Prabhupada told that all temples are like Vrindavan. So we can serve in any temple. But this is ideally, we should prefer that where full time we can devote more and more and more. That should be the goal we should set up. Text number 4. So I request you to, like, if I speak and if you find any doubt, you can stop me and we can have a small discussion also in between, if you see that my understanding is not proper, because I am also learning. Yeah, next text. In this text now, I will just read one important word here, which Prabhupada mentioned. Yeah. Vakshana are rules and regulations of retired life, and Susmarna, Susamate, perfectly recognized. Yeah. So translation, text number 4. After retiring from family life, Maharaj Prithu strictly followed the regulations of retired life and underwent severe austerities in the forest. He engaged in these activities as seriously as he had formerly engaged in leading the government and conquering everyone. So Prithu Maharaj, being Shaktavesha Avatar, is a very, very great devotee, and actually he is teaching through his own personal example how to be best when he was in family life, and how to be best even after retiring now in the forest life also. Because now Prithu Maharaj retired, and actually he distributed everything, and now he started preparing for his final lesson, that is the death. So that he is preparing to go back to home, back to order. So here Prabhupada giving clearly very nice once again. Yeah. The whole purpose of Vedic system and Vedic order is to enable one to ultimately return home, back to Godhead. So actually this is the whole purpose of this Vedic order and everything. Whatever this we see in this world, actually this is the ultimate purpose, that we should prepare to go back to home, back to Godhead. And actually, Prabhupada is telling us the Grahastha Ashrama is a sort of concession combining sense gratification with a regulatory life. It is to enable one to easily retire in the middle of age and engage fully in austerities in one of the transcendental material sense gratification, one and for all. But nowadays, you see, this Vanprastha life is actually very, very rare. We don't find enough Vanprasthas. And I was listening to one small clip from one devotee who was telling that I can solve this problem of unemployment in 1 minute. And he was telling that ideally we should all plan to retire at 50. So that now we are stretching our life, our professional life till 65, or some people are even stretching till the last day of their life. So that should not be. Ideally at 50, as per scriptures, we should retire from our active Grasta life, active professional life, and we should dedicate fully in the service of Lord. If most of the population in this world start following this, then most of the unemployment problem will be finished, because when they leave the space, then new people can actually take their place, and like that, the unemployment problem can be also solved, and many more problems can be solved, because nowadays people are not following this one prastha. That's why we are seeing more and more problems coming in the world. Yeah. Text number 5. In the Tapovana, Maharaj Prithu sometimes ate the trunks and roots of trees. Sometimes he ate fruit and dried leaves, and for some weeks he drank only water. Finally, he lived simply by breathing air. So in Tapovana, he went actually to do more and more austerities and more fully engaged. So the time he was using in Grasa life, like he can now fully engage in devotional service activities. So here Prabhupada is telling, by Prithu Maharaj behavior, we can understand that when he went to the forest, he did not eat any cooked food sent from the city by some devotees or disciples. Yeah. So this is one point. And also, in other words, Prabhupada is explaining, actually Prabhupada is explaining how one person's life should be. And in our present situation, it's very easy when we can fully engage in service. It doesn't matter when we live in a home and or a forest, because our acharyas also explain grahe thako, vane thako, sada hari, bale thako. So ideally, the one prasa life is means that 24/7 you are engaged in service. That is perfect one prasa. There is no other service, the body service or social service. There is only one activity where you are 24/7 engaged in serving the Lord. Next, in other words, overeating. Yeah. Here also Prabhupada recommend to, actually I took this personally me, because overeating is not at all recommended for one who want to progress in spiritual life. So this is, I took as a very, very personal instruction, because this is what is my habit. Whenever I see prasad cooked nicely by devotees, I always try to do overeating. So this is one of the instruction which I take from this Prabhupada. Very important. And one more. Okay, the next. Yeah. Here, this is one golden lottery opportunity for us. Krishna conscious movement offered one the opportunity to live in the temple of the Lord, which is as good as Vrinda. Consequently, Krishna does not need to go to the forest and artificially try to imitate Maharaj Prithu or the great sages and munis who used to live in the forest. So this is an instruction Prabhupada has given clearly for us, that we should not try to imitate these great sages artificially, but we should try to do more and more service 24/7 wherever we are. It's, for our present situation, we can't imitate Maharaj Prithu, okay, I'm leaving home and going to forest. But wherever we are, we can see the example of our present Shiksha Guru, Leelan Prabhuji. His life is more like a one person. He got family, he got job, he got everything, but more and more we see he's engaged in 24/7 in services, and he's trying to engage all of us. So that's our part, that we are not able to just follow his instructions sincerely. Otherwise, I think by now, whole Hyderabad should have been become devotee at least. If we all just sincerely try to follow instructions, it's a guarantee that by now, 10 years, whole Hyderabad at least should have become a sincere devotee. Everybody, you should not see anybody other than devotees. But I'll pray to Lord that He give me enough strength that I should able to follow the instructions given by my Shiksha Gurus, Diksha Gurus sincerely, and I should become to able to do some services in for Krishna consciousness movement for Prabhupada. Yeah. And one more important point which I found here. Yeah. Um, Westerners or anyone else can follow in the footsteps of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura by living in a temple which is transcendental to residence in the forest and to vow to accept Krishna Prasada and nothing else. Follow the regulative principles and chant 16 rounds daily of Hare Krishna mantra. In this way, one's spiritual life will never be disturbed. So, this is a quiz actually. So this is a way we should self-introspect sometime, that am I feeling any disturbance in my spiritual life? Is my spiritual life having some up and down glitches, or it's very smooth? Actually, you can introspect through this instruction that anyone should follow in the footsteps of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur by living in a temple. So right now, by the mercy of our acharyas, present Shiksha Gurus, all our houses are like temples. We have deities, we have photos, we are serving, we are doing Mangal Aartis, everything. So we are already living in a temple, which is transcendental to residence in the forest. And to go to accept Krishna Prasada. So anybody who is accepting only Krishna Prasada is actually following, but sometime in the name of Krishna Prasada, we are eating so many other things and nothing else. The Prabhupada clearly said we should accept Krishna Prasada and nothing else. So this is, I think I need to improve. Follow the regulative principles. In this follow the regulative principle, it itself is a big topic. So sometimes we think that externally, although we are following regulative principles, but internally we are not following. So we can go on discussing on this. And chant 16 round daily. Chant 16 round daily, it doesn't mean just we are finishing our round. It should be very sincerely. So, and actually, we see, although externally we may see that we are following all the things, but if we introspect and go in depth, so we'll come to know that actually we are quite far and we are not able to follow this instruction sincerely. That's why we are facing disturbance in our spiritual life. But never mind, we should have to have faith and keep on struggling. Slowly, once we start following this instruction sincerely, we'll see automatically that our spiritual life will get some benefit and the disturbance in our spiritual life and all will automatically go down. It will take some time. The only thing required is we should have faith on our instructions of our gurus, and we should sincerely try to follow. We may fail, but every time we should get up and try to follow again and again and again and again and again. So text number 6. Following the principles of forest living and footsteps of great sages and munis, Prithu Maharaj accepted 5 kind of heating processes during the summer season, exposed himself to torrents of rain in the rainy season, in the winter stood in water up to his neck. He also used to simply lie down on the floor to sleep. So this is how the austerity Prithu Maharaj followed when he was staying in the forest. So here Prabhupada is clearly answering the purpose of undergoing such severe austerities is to become a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, as explained in the next one. So there should be only one purpose of going to austerity. We should not just trying to do austerity for any other thing other than becoming a sincere devotee of Krishna. This is what Prabhupada explains through this purport. And text number 7. Maharaj Prithu underwent all these severe austerities in order to control his words and his senses, to refrain from discharging his semen, and to control the life air within the body. This he did for satisfaction of Krishna. So that's why it said that Shram Evahi Kevalam. If we do anything which is purpose of which is not to satisfy our gurus and Krishna, then it's just like a Shram Evahi Kevalam. So he had no other purpose. So this is very clearly explained in Bhagavatam that, and it's a very long purport here. Prabhupada, I'll just explain what appealed to me, but I'll request devotees that whenever they get time, they should read. And if they want to know more how to be very sincere in reading Bhagavatam, we got very nice devotee Santosh Aditya Prabhu in our group. So we can consult him that how to be sincere in reading Bhagavatam, how to make others read Bhagavatam. So he's reading himself and he's helping others also reading nicely. So we can always take his guidance. Here, Prabhupada is explaining that Maharaj Prithu underwent severe types of austerities for the express purpose of worshipping Krishna. And one more thing. Yeah. If after executing all types of tapasya, one cannot reach Krishna, all his tapasya has no value. For without Krishna, all his austerity is simply wasted labor. Shram evahi kevalam. We'll read this Bhagavatam verse. Yeah. Dharma savanush Dharma swanushchita pumsam vishvaksena kathayacha notpadeya yadi ratim shram eva hi kevalam. It's explained that the occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. Yeah. So we'll continue further. Our life is so short. Yeah. Here Prabhupada is also explaining. Yeah. Our life is so short that we must strictly adhere to the principle laid down by the Vaishnava Acharyas and peacefully execute Krishna consciousness. Narottama Dasa Thakur recommends Anande Bala Hari Bhaja Vrindavana Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majiyaya Mana. For a transcendental blissful life, chant the Hare Krishna mantra, come worship the holy place of Vrindavan and always engage in the service of the Lord, of the spiritual master and of the Vaishnava. So this is a very simple way we can progress in our spiritual life and we can live our life, even this present life, very blissfully. Next. Yeah. By following the instruction of spiritual master and chanting Hare Krishna, everything will be all right. So we have any problem in life? Do we have any problem in life? This is the answer. By following the instruction of spiritual master and by chanting Hare Krishna, everything will be all right. Simple, standard answer. We can actually make it a poster, big poster, and keep in our place in our home where we can read everything. What is Prabhupada instruction? Any problem in life, this is the just basic, very easy instruction. Yeah. Text number 8. By thus practicing severe austerities, Maharaj Prithu gradually became steadfast in spiritual life and completely free of all desires for fruitive activities. He also practiced breathing exercise to control his mind and senses, and by such control, he became completely free from all desire for fruitive activities. So here we should understand that Prabhupada is not telling us to do yoga, but actually this Maharaj Prithu is doing all these exercises we have seen already to just satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And here Prabhupada is clearly mentioning this. The purpose of pranayama or mystic yoga is to stop the mind and senses from engaging in fruitive activities. The so-called yogis who practice in Western culture have no idea of this. The aim of pranayama is not to make body strong and fit for working hard. The aim is to worship. Aim is worship of Krishna. So even this pranayama is actually aimed to worship Krishna, not for any other thing. But nowadays people have taken this yoga and other thing very cheaply just to keep themselves fit at bodily or mental level. But actually, ideally, this was not the aim. That was just the beginning. But ultimately, it should be aimed to worship Krishna and to satisfy Krishna. And further, Prabhupada explained, the mind of those who are addicted to fruitive activities are always filled with unclear desires. Fruitive activities are symptomatic of our polluted desire to dominate material nature. Yeah. So who is having unclean desires in our mind? Like this actually, this chapter is opening our heart. It's like a mirror which is displaying what is going inside. So here Prabhupada is answering everything, whatever the problems we are facing in our spiritual life, in our day-to-day life, Prabhupada is actually explaining everything. We have unclear desire, that means we still have fruitive activities. The tendency to lord it over material nature, tendency to enjoy the fruits of our activities. These all tendencies are there. That's why we have unclean desires in our heart till now. So, and we need to become more and more serious. Yeah. Shastras warn that in this age, such yoga practice is simply a waste of time. The only means of elevation is chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. Although Prithu Maharaj did this, but our Acharya Prabhupada is clearly warning us that we should not imitate and we should just try to follow the process of chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and that will take us, that will be enough to do whatever is necessary for us. So we should have faith on the words of our Acharya, and we should try to follow his instruction, and everything will be all right. And yeah, here Prabhupada is explaining again. As far as pranayama is concerned, chanting of the holy name of the Lord and dancing in ecstasy is also considered pranayam. So nowadays we see that many people are having problems why people in ISKCON are dancing, but actually it's a part of, it's a kind of pranayam. Prabhupada is explaining. So it's very, very important that we should chant, we should dance, we should sing, and we should be very, very blissful. And the beauty is that even today, Prabhupada has written, although it's almost 50 years ago, but now even today, after 50 years, through ISKCON movement, through our present gurus, we are getting the chance to just follow the instruction very, very sincerely, very easily. So we don't have to intervene. The only thing is we should come and be associated with devotees, and we should just sing with them, dance with them, accept prasad, and everything will be okay.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Can you mute others, Prabhuji? Can you mute others?
Yeah, I will try. Control. There's a option to mute everybody. Hare Krishna. Maybe Shilpa Mataji can help in that.
Yeah, I think everyone is muted except you. Yeah.
Text number 9. Translation. Thus the best amongst human beings, Maharaj Prithu followed that path of spiritual advancement which was advised by Sanat Kumara. That is to say, he worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So this is actually the path coming in a parampara, Sanat Kumar, Sanat, Sanatan, Sanandan, all the 4 Kumaras and all different acharyas actually followed this. And Maharaj Prithu also followed this, although Krishna himself, Shaktavesha avatar, he's setting the example, and till our present acharyas, present gurus, everybody is following this path. So we should not doubt on this path, that because it's coming through ages and ages and ages, and everybody following it, and this is what is recommended everywhere. So here Prabhupada is explaining very nicely. Actually, one who is self-realized engages himself in the service of Lord perpetually, both in this life and in the next. Indeed, that for devotees, there is no difference between this life and the next. So, which is the words which is explaining this? That in Shishashtakam prayers, which is that one janmani janmanashre bhaktat bhakti ahetukitva. So, Shishashtakam prayer, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that we should not aspire even for liberation. We should pray to Lord that you keep me broken-hearted, you take me softly, you take me hardly, whatever you do with me, I am always there to serve you, even birth after birth after birth. I don't want to get rid of this cycle of birth after birth. My only desire to serve you, ahetuki, without any motive. Apratiyata. Ahetuki means unmotivated, uninterrupted. So like that, I want to serve you birth after birth. So this is the aspiration a devotee should have. That not, I don't want liberation, I don't want to get end the cycle of birth. My only desire to serve Lord birth after birth, and you do whatever you want with me. That is your problem, not my problem. My duty is just to serve you. So this is the devotee's aspiration, highest level, which is shown by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through his Shashtam prayer. And same thing Prabhupada is writing here, that one who is self-realized engages himself in service of the Lord perpetually, both in this life and the next. Indeed, for devotees, there is no difference between this life and the next. In this life, a neophyte devotee is trained to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the next life, he approaches that Supreme Person in Vaikuntha and renders the same devotional service. Even for neophyte devotee, devotional service is considered Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Devotional service to the Lord is never considered a material activity. So this is how Prabhupada is explaining the devotional service is very, very important, and that is the only ultimate goal. And we should not even aspire for getting rid of this cycle of birth and death, all these problems. And here one more instruction by Prabhupada, which is very, very easy for us to follow. If the devotee adheres strictly to the orders of spiritual master, follow the rules and regulations, and chant Hare Krishna mantra, it should be concluded that he is already in the Brahma Bhuta stage. So this is very important. And it's confirmed in Bhagavad Gita also. Mam chayo vyapicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunana samtite tan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So this is what is very important. Prabhupada saying strictly adheres to the order of spiritual master, follow the rules and regulations, and chant the Hare Krishna mantra. That's all. So it's very, very, very easy, very, very blissful. If we want, and it's very, very easy. If we don't want, it's very, very difficult. So only, actually, 2 days before I was hearing my lecture, and Keshavan Prabhuji explaining that actually it's not Maya which keeps us entangled in this world. It's only our desires. If we desire to serve Krishna, then actually this Maya will help us to serve Krishna. It will not stop us. Maya is just, it's like a filter. It's still till we are not pure in our desire. Maya is filtering us and keeping us away from Krishna. Once our desires become very, very pure, we can easily pass that filter. So filter job is to filter out the things which are not acceptable for this particular system. Like I am engineer, I know. So there are different types of filter which filter different types of things. So they are designed to filter out particular types of things and to let the other types of things go. So Maya is like a filter which will filter the persons who doesn't have a pure desire. So they cannot approach Krishna. Those who have pure desires, Maya will actually come with folded hands and take them close to Krishna. So it's not, we should not blame Maya every time we say, I am in Maya, I am in Maya. Actually, Maya is not the one who is stopping us. It's our desires which are not yet pure in Krishna's service. So once our desire become pure, it's actually we are the one who is stopping, not Maya. So we should not blame anybody except us. So once my desire become very, very pure, Maya will help us. Maya only will help us. She is actually servant of Krishna only. So she will be very happy to take us to Krishna. So next text number 10. Translation. Maharaj Prithu thus engaged completely in devotional service, executing the rules and regulations strictly according to principles 24 hours a day. Thus his love and devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, developed and become unflinching and fixed. So this is how a devotee who is 24 hours a day fixed, his love and devotion will increase and increase. So no matter what. So this is one. And we go to the next text. Text number 11. Yeah. Translation. By regularly discharging devotional service, Prithu Maharaj became transcendental in his mind and could therefore constantly think of the lotus feet of the Lord. Because of this, he became completely detached and attained perfect knowledge, by which he could transcend all doubts. Thus, he was freed from the clutches of false ego and the material conception of life. This is also very important. Here, one very important word in this text, words I will show you. Anupurtya. Yeah, okay, yeah. This is an important point. Anupurtya, being perfectly done. So we can see there are many devotees, disciples of Prabhupada. Forget about Prabhupada. Prabhupada is the ultimate example, but there are many disciples of Prabhupada who have actually shown this example. Anupurtya, like Yamuna Mataji. So Yamuna Mataji, when she did DT dressing, it's in but detail with great perfection. Prabhupada became very happy. When she do cooking, it's with great perfection. So this is the example, like Radharani Maharaj also give example that you can be a perfect pure devotee just while peeling a potato for serving Radha Gopinath. And you could be, if your consciousness is not there in serving deities, you could not be at that level even while serving deities personally. So that is how this whole game is of consciousness. So here also the word Anupurtya is given that it should be perfectly done. So by regularly discharging devotional service, Prithu Maharaj became transcendental in his mind and could therefore constantly think of the lotus feet of the Lord. Because of this, he became completely detached and attained perfect knowledge by which he could transcend all doubts. Thus, he was freed from the clutches of false ego and material conception of knowledge, life. So this is the point, like free from, could transcend all doubts. So many times you try to find the answers of doubt, but from here, Prithumara's example, we can understand that once we become more and more sincere in our devotion service, the doubt will automatically, Krishna will start clearing doubt automatically because the maturity will come. And we see the life of even Brahmaji. Brahmaji got a doubt after getting created. What should I do? And Brahmaji just started doing meditation. He struggled going inside the navel, the stem of the lotus where he was, and he went there for billions of years, but he could not find. Then he come back and he just started. He thought that enough is enough. Now I should meditate, and he started meditating. And from inside, Tene Brahma Hidayadi Kave. Krishna actually guided Brahma from inside. So we should not think that there are so many doubts. Nobody's clearing out doubt. I have so many problems. We should be very sincere in our services, and automatically Krishna will clear our doubts. If at all we are finding it difficult to get it cleared, because sometimes we don't have enough maturity. Once we do devotional service sincerely, that maturity will come, that all our doubts will clear automatically. And this we have seen in the life of Brahmaji, we have seen in the life of Prithu Maharaj.
ఆర్డర్ పెట్టలే కదా
It's there in the life
ఏం
of
సేఫ్
everybody.
హ్యాండ్ పెట్టాలి
Hare Krishna. Swapna Mataji, you please, Hare Krishna, if you can mute. Yeah. Okay. Here Prabhupada explained that maid servants of devotional service are material opulence, liberation, and mystic power. So we should not worry about all these things. These will become maid servants. So here actually Prabhupada is explaining about karmis, jnanis, yogis. But we should think that for devotee, all these things will come by default as a byproduct. Like once you take some medicine, and some reactions will come as a byproduct. So this is how the reactions of devotional service. Positive reaction, you'll get all the opulence, liberation, mystic power. But actually devotee is not performing devotional service to get all this, but they will come as a byproduct. Here also Prabhupada explained that from the Narada Panchatantra, we can understand that if one attains the stage of pure devotional service, he also attains all the opulence derived from fruitive activities, empirical philosophy, speculation, and mystic practices. So these all things are very, very easy for devotee to get. So we should not worry about all these things. They will come automatically. And we have seen in the life of many devotees also, this explained by Prabhupada here. One more. Yeah. Here Prabhupada explained, a devotee does not want any kind of material opulence, but such opulence appear before him automatically. He does not have to endeavor for it. Because of this devotion, he automatically become Brahma Bhuta. Yeah. Again, Prabhupada quoting very nice Gita. Mam chayo vicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samtite tan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So this is how a devotional life is. One who is engaged in full devotional service unfailing in all circumstances at once transcend the modes of material nature and thus come to the level of Brahman. So this is how devotional service so blissfully it is. And yeah. Shuddha Sattva. Here Prabhupada explaining about Shuddha Sattva. By constantly thinking of the lotus feet of Lord, the devotee immediately becomes situated in Shuddha Sattva. Shuddha Sattva refer to the platform which is above the modes of the material nature. So ideally, we should transcend the modes of material nature. I hope we all understand what are the modes of material nature, Sattvagun, Shuddha, Rajagun, Tamagun. And for pure devotees, actually he should actually transcend all these gunas and go above them. Here Prabhupada is quoting from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary that following example, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Maharaj is giving example that if one has strong digestive power after eating, he automatically lights a fire within his stomach to digest everything and does not need to take medicine to aid his digestion. Similarly, the fire of devotion service is so strong that a devotee does not need to act separately to attain perfect knowledge or detachment from material attractions. So this is how Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that other people who are Gyanis and Karmis and Yogis, they are struggling, but for devotee, automatically. So strong that devotee does not need to act separately to attain perfect knowledge or detachment. So anyhow, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, even when you perform devotional service, so whatever we are lagging, I'll take care. So we have to have faith and rest everything here. Should mind the words of Vishnu Chakravarti also, everything will become automatically. So devotee just have only one tension, how to serve Lord. Rest everything is Krishna's tension for devotee's life. So in this verse actually Prabhupada compared devotee with Gyanis and Yogis. It's a very long purport, so we can read later and we'll go to next text number 12, translation. When he became completely free from the conception of bodily life, Maharaj Prithu realized Lord Krishna sitting in everyone's heart as the Paramatma. Being thus able to get all instructions from him, he gave up all other practices of yoga and jnana. He was not even interested in the perfection of the yoga and jnana systems, for he thoroughly realized that devotional service to Krishna is the ultimate goal of life, and thus, unless the yogis and jnanis became attracted to Krishna Katha, narrations about Krishna, their illusions concerning existence can never be dispelled. So this is how, to get out of the illusions, we should become attracted to Krishna Katha. So for Krishna, everything is transcendental. Speaking Krishna Katha, listening Krishna Katha, reading Krishna Katha. So some or other, we should try to engage ourselves in some of the activities pertaining to Krishna. So as per our nature, and we are so lucky that in our society there are so many great people. We can just listen them, and now we are so lucky that we have technology that we can listen to them anytime, anyway. But nowadays, because of this, we are getting more and more entangled. We should be very happy. Earlier, it was not a chance with other, like if we were born, suppose 50 years ago from now, that time there was no YouTube, no recording, no this laptop and all. So it's very difficult. Even Radha Gopinath temple, initially people used to record in cassettes. I hope some of you know how that cassettes and tape recorder system works. And they used to save the data in cassettes and they have to play cassette. But now it's very easily available through a phone. Actually, it's easy, but it's becoming more and more difficult for us to listen. So, but here Prabhupada is saying that we should somehow or other develop our taste to Krishna Katha. When one understands that the ultimate goal of life is to approach Krishna, he realizes Krishna within everyone's heart and therefore helps everyone who is interested in Krishna consciousness. Actually, the perfection of life depends on one's inclination to hear about Krishna. So this is how. So if we want to know the example, Prabhupada has set actually example. What should be the inclination to hear about Krishna? There is one very famous story. I hope you all know, but I will repeat now again. That once in Janmashtami celebration, Prabhupada was there, and all devotees, his disciples were there. Prabhupada was there, and they all fasted till midnight. And midnight, 12 o'clock, everybody was waiting eager to open the fast. We all are eager, we are fasting since morning without even water. And everyone was thinking like now 12 o'clock, Prabhupada will order us to, okay, bring the best of the prasad and we'll serve to everybody. But Prabhupada at midnight, 12 o'clock, ordered one of the disciples, okay, now open Krishna book and read, and we all will listen. So one of the disciples followed the instruction. They opened Krishna book and everybody was sitting and they were reading chapter number 1, the birth of Lord. We all know Krishna book, first chapter, the birth of how Lord Krishna planned his birth with, and they were reading, and chapter 1 finished and does end up with the purport of chapter first. And everybody starts shouting, Jai Prabhupada, and they thought, now it's enough. Now it's time for prasad. And Prabhupada told, next chapter. It's almost like 1 o'clock in the night. Okay, then they start reading next chapter, and then next chapter finish, and everybody start shouting, Jai Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada told, and then everybody thinking, now it's too late. Now Prabhupada will say, okay, now finish and we'll have prasad. And Prabhupada say, okay, next chapter, third chapter. And by the time devotees started reading third chapter, it's explained that there were big sannyasis in that time, Prabhupada disciples, and they all were like in sleeping, and all devotees were in the slept, and Prabhupada was totally absorbed in hearing Krishna's pastime from Krishna book, and he was so enjoying so blissfully, and everybody else was struggling there to just keep awake. And then finally Prabhupada saw everybody's condition. Then Prabhupada thought, okay, enough is enough. Now let's have prasad. So this is how Prabhupada actually explained through his own life that the perfection of life depends on one's inclination to hear about Krishna. So whenever we should get a chance to hear about Krishna, we should see. And if we see Prabhupada, when he's dealing with his own Guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, then Prabhupada was a grasta. He used to travel to Vrindavan to listen to his Guru. And there in Vrindavan, once there was very small attendance in the pandal. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur asked actually to his disciple, where are all the devotees? So they explained that the devotees went to take darshan of the different temples, Goswami temples in the Vrindavan. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explained that they should come here and they should have more inclination towards listening, but they will take darshan of the deities without listening. So, but Prabhupada, when he was Abhechand that time, so he was having full inclination, he was always there. And even Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur commented about Prabhupada that I like this boy because he had a lot of taste for hearing. And we can see that this is one of the good quality we should accept, adopt from Prabhupada. It's not very difficult to accept, right? And then we can also become very, very sincere devotee like Prabhupada. So this is how. Just listen. And like Narad Muni, like it's explained, Narad Muni become Narad Muni just by serving great devotees. And Prabhupada, like we can see, he actually has very nice engagement in listening. So we can accept any one of the Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So one of the activities we can accept whatever suits. We should try to serve devotee. And the beauty is in ISKCON society, Prabhupada has given us everything ready-made. So everything is there. Devotees are there, their services are there, listening options are there, reading options are there, activity services are there. So somehow the Prabhupada, no, these people have no instruction, but I'll give them such a society. If they just stick to this society and stick to following instructions slowly, they will progress. So this is a beauty of our Acharya. Although I am not totally qualified, but somehow I am in between such a society where I'm forced to serve, forced to eat prasad, forced to listen, forced to give class. So this is the misfortune that my acharya, my shiksha gurus have to force me. Ideally, it should come naturally, but I have just prayed back them that please forgive me, and slowly I will try to become sincere. Yeah, when come back to the story of Prithu Maharaj, in due course of time, when Prithu Maharaj was to give up his body, he fixed his mind firmly upon the lotus feet of Krishna and thus completely situated on the Brahma Bhuta platform, he gave up the material body. So in this example, we should understand that when I read the passage away of Bhishma Dev, that time I was thinking that Krishna actually came personally in front of Bhishma Dev. So do we have that fortune that Krishna will come personally? But when I read the passage away of Prithu Maharaj, there Krishna had not come personally. But we can see that he also attained the Brahma Bhuta platform because he firmly fixed his mind upon the lotus feet of Krishna and he just left his body. So this is how. And come to our present situation in the life of in the society of ISKCON Prabhupada society, we can see that he, although we may not be as great as Prithu Maharaj, but Prabhupada has made all the arrangement. We have seen the passage of many devotees. We have witnessed it personally. We have witnessed it through videos. And we know that whenever devotees are leaving, Krishna is making arrangements. He is sending all the devotees and they all are chanting, they all are dancing. And Krishna is ensuring that even if you are not fully qualified, I will not leave you. I'll give you such an atmosphere that you will force to remember me. So this is how Krishna is ensuring now for us. But for Prithu Maharaj, Krishna doesn't have to force. He's very nice devotee and he remembered nicely. So here Prabhupada writing, those who are practicing Krishna consciousness know that their examination will held at the time of death. So we should be prepared for that. Yeah. Every devotee desire to give up the body while it is in the sound, physically and mentally. Yeah. This is how Mukund Mala Sutkin Kurukshetra explained Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Panjananam Advaityame Visatu Manasa Raja Hamsa Prana Prayayan Samaye Kalpa Vatah Pitaha Skanthavaro Dhana Vidha Samaraha Kutaste. So very beautifully, King Kurukshetra Maharaj explained in King Mukund Maharaj Sutra that King Kurukshetra wanted to give up his body while in the healthy state, and he thus prayed to Krishna to let him die immediately when he was in good health and while his mind was sound. When a man dies, he is generally overpowered by mucus and bile, and thus he chokes. Since it is very difficult to vibrate any sound while choking, it is simply by Krishna's grace that one can chant Hare Krishna at the time of death. So it's not easy. It's a very, very rare opportunity. And if we see any devotee who is living and devotees are chanting around him, dancing around him, so it's guaranteed that even the devotee, whatever its state, he may be very, very pure level, not level, but Krishna has ensured that we will listen to Krishna and we'll go back to him, back to God. So that is Krishna's plan. So without Krishna grace, we cannot do. However, by situating oneself in Muktasana position, a yogi can immediately give up his body and go to whatever planet he desires. So these are yogis. So yogis even have a power to go to different desires, but actually for devotees, we should just have to concentrate on Krishna, and that's all. Krishna will take us to the best of the place. You should not worry about that. Next. Text 15. When Maharaj Prithu practiced a particular yogic sitting posture, he blocked the doors of his anus with his ankles, pressed his right and left calves, and gradually raised his life air upwards, passing it on to the circle of his navel, up to his heart and throat, and finally pushed it upwards to the central position between his two eyebrows. So this is explained how Prithu Maharaj left his body. And here in purport, Prabhupada saying that some yogis leave their bodies to go to higher planetary systems and enjoy the material facilities therein. However, intelligent yogis do not wish to waste their time within this material worlds at all time. They do not care for the material facilities in higher planetary system, but are interested in going directly to the spacious sky, back to home, back to God. Later part of this chapter, now we will see that even the demigods, they were seeing the great fortune of Maharaj Prithu, and they were getting blissful, like what a great fortune Maharaj Prithu. Even demigods are like feeling jealous. We'll see later part of this chapter only. Here Prabhupada explained that, however, those who are in Krishna consciousness or who are practicing Bhakti Yoga, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, can return to Godhead without even practicing the Muktasana postures. So when we read the translation, we are thinking, we don't know Muktasana, but Prabhupada really clarify that we don't need to practice Muktasana. The purpose of Muktasana practice is to come to Brahma Bhuta state, for without being on a Brahma Bhuta state, one cannot be promoted to the spiritual sky. Bhagavad Gita, it's explained that Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunana samatitayatan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So it's very easy. The Bhakti Yogi practicing Bhakti Yoga is always situated on the Brahma Bhuta state. So Bhakti Yoga people don't have to worry because they are always in Brahma Bhuta state. If a devotee is able to continue to the Brahma Bhuta platform, he enters the spacious sky automatically after death and returns to Godhead. Actually, I heard one statement from His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj that I will not leave ISKCON till the full of my life. And actually, he lived fully serving Prabhupada till the last moment of his life. And I was thinking, like, what is this statement? I will not leave ISKCON. But once you read this purport and the leaving of Prithu Maharaj, and you understand that how he left his body in Krishna conscious state, and you compare yourself in present situation. So we should see that Prabhupada actually make all the arrangements for us if we just stick to ISKCON society and we just sincerely serving there. That we may not become very, very pure, that's okay. But Krishna has make all the arrangement that he will ensure that his devotees will pray for us and we will be taken care. So this is how Prabhupada has already make arrangement, and it's very, very important that somehow or other in this whole lifetime we should follow the instruction of Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj at least, and somehow or other we should just stick to ISKCON, stick to devotees, stick to their service, and sincerely just stick to the process. And don't worry about becoming very pure, becoming very high devotee, great devotee. That all thing Krishna will take care. Prabhupada has already taken care. We should have faith. So just stick to the process and just try to serve, like we are doing now. And rest everything is very easily taken care by. Our acharyas are already taken care. We should not worry much about that. So translation. Next word. In this way, Prithu Maharaj gradually raised his air of life up to the whole of in his skull, whereupon he lost all desires for material existence. Gradually, he merged his air of life with the totality of air, his body with the totality of earth, and the fire within his body with the totality of fire. So this is how he actually, the Panch Tattva, Panch Mahabhuta being merged in the going back. So unless the living entity has information of the spiritual world and the Vaikuntha, there is a 99.9% chance of his falling down again into material existence. So here people don't even know what is Vaikuntha. They have different desires. So there are chances they will again fall down. In the absence of varieties of enjoyment, the spirit soul gradually feels an attraction to enjoy the life of bliss, and not having any information of Krishna Loka or Vaikuntha Loka, he naturally falls down to material activities in order to enjoy material varieties. Luckily, thankfully, we have now information about material spiritual world. Na tad bhashate suryo, na shashanko, na pavaka, yat katva na nivartante, tad dhama parma mama. So Krishna declared boldly in Bhagavad Gita, so that is my loka. So we should have desire to reach there. And in this way, according to the different positions of the various parts of the body, Ritu Maharaj merged the wholes of his senses with the sky, the bodily liquids such as blood and various secretions within the totality of water, and he merged earth with water, then the water with the fire with air with sky, and so on. So this is any scientific process how Prithu Maharaj actually left his body and merged his all Panch Mahabhut in different. So in this next verse, this word Sandhate is amalgamated. Imagine. It's important. When we make alloys, we amalgam different elements, atom, different metals. So he amalgamated the mind with the senses and the senses with the sense objects according to their respective positions. And he also amalgamated the material ego with the total material energy, Mahat Tattva. So Mahat Tattva actually we have read nicely when we are doing Bhakti Shastri course. I hope you understand the Mahat Tattva is a place where spiritual world and material world differentiate. So we need only take the activity of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and chant Hare Krishna mantra to cleanse the mind of all material contamination, and this may be considered a summary of this difficult word. So it's very technical words. Those who want to go in detail, they can go themselves, because for me, I could not understand much out of this words purport. But Prabhupada in the end gave a very soothing commentary that we should only take the advice of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and chant the Hare Krishna mantra to cleanse the mind of all material contamination. That's all. And this may be considered the summary of this difficult words. So don't worry much about Mahat Tattva, amalgamation. This is the instruction of Prabhupada. Just as this life in the material world has its beginning in the material sound, similarly, a spiritual life has its beginning in the spiritual sound vibration. So, which is a spiritual sound vibration? We all know nicely. Prabhupada has given us a sound vibration directly from spiritual word that Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that should be our totality of goal of our life. Prithu Maharaj then offered the total designation of the living entity unto the supreme controller of illusionary energy, being released. We should Prithu Maharaj offered the total designation of living entity unto the supreme controller of illusionary energy, being released from all the designations by which the living entity became entrapped. He became free by knowledge and renunciation and by the spiritual force of his devotion service. In this way, being situated in his original constitutional position of Krishna consciousness, he gave up this body as a Prabhu or controller of the senses. Yeah. So here Prabhupada is explaining nicely. The real identity of the individual soul lies in understanding or attaining the knowledge that he is eternally a servant of Krishna. So this is our real identity. Actually, after reading this, now the Shara coming and then soon we will have Deepavali. So there is one incident in Ramayana where Hanumanji met Lord Ramachandra and Lakshman first time. So that time Hanumanji was in the service of Sugriva as entrusted by his guru Suryadev. So that time when first Hanumanji met, then that time Lord Ram and Lakshman were in the Veshbhusha of sadhus, but carrying weapons, arrow and bow and all, so like a Kshatriya. So everybody was confused. Who are they? Are they Kshatriyas or sadhus or Brahmanas? So, and Sugriva became more fearful seeing them on Rishimukh Parvat because he thought that this might be sent by my brother Bali to kill me. So Hanumanji was there and Hanumanji told Sugriva, don't worry, I'll just go and take care. I'll just check first who they are. So just to test Lord Rama and Lakshmana, Hanumanji changed his form and come in a form of a sadhu. And somehow that he came in front of Lord Rama and Lakshmana, and Lord Rama and Lakshmana, and he asked them, who are you? Then Lord and Rama and Lakshmana explained that we are son of Dashrath Maharaj, we are Lord Rama and Lakshmana, we are searching for Sita Devi. But then they asked, why, who are you? And Hanumanji became very happy after listening them, and he actually disclosed his identity that I am, but he told that I am servant of Sugriva, because that time he was in service of Sugriva. And just by listening that I am servant of Sugriva, it's explained in Ramayana that Lord Ram actually stepped he moved 2 steps behind. And Hanumanji felt that I have done some offense. So this is how Prabhupada explained. But later part of the story in Ramayana, actually Hanumanji counter that offense by giving some respect to Lakshmanji. That came later part. But here Prabhupada explained that real identity of individual soul lies in understanding or attaining the knowledge that he is eternally a servant of Krishna. And after that, throughout in Ramayana, Hanumanji always said that I am Lord Ram's servant, Hanuman. Then Lord Ram became very, very pleased. So actually, this is our true identity. That who are we? The servant of Krishna, the servant of Lord Ram, like that. So this is very clearly explained from Ramayana also. When one attains that stage, he can understand how he is related with the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a servant or friend, or as a parent or conjugal lover. So we know different 5 types of rasas where Lord gives a relationship with to all individual souls. In this word, the word the word Prabhu is also significant. As stated before, when one is completely self-realized and act according to that position, he can be called Prabhu. The spiritual master is addressed as Prabhupada because he is completely self-realized. So here Prabhupada explained why spiritual master is called Prabhupada, why we are explaining each other as Prabhu. Because when one is completely self-realized and act according to that position, so anybody who is practicing devotion, we call them Prabhujis, Matajis. So here Prabhupada explained that self-realized acts according to that position. So sometimes we do use the word Prabhu very, very cheaply, but it's not a very cheap word. We should understand that. Further, when a living entity abandons the activities of Maya and attains the position from which he can execute devotional service, his state is called Sarup Stha, or complete liberation. Text number 19. Translation. The queen, the wife of Prithu Maharaj, whose name was Archi, followed her husband into the forest. Since she was a queen, her body was very delicate. Although she did not deserve to live in the forest, she voluntarily touched her lotus feet to the ground. So it's explained that at that time, queens were such a royal palace, and they, throughout their life, they never even touched their feet to the ground. That was their opulence. But when some calamity came, like we see later Prabhupada explained the life from Sita Devi, when Lord Ramchandra got Vanvas, Sita Devi followed. And in this case, the wife of Prithu Maharaj, Atri, she followed. And even the queen of Dashrata, Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, she actually closed her eyes throughout her life that since my husband can't see. So these are the very, very, very chaste women and very, very high women, and they're setting the example. So this whole chapter we are seeing the perfect example set by a humans to following the perfect life. For men, it's explained that Prabhupada explained they should be very, very sincere devotee and do all their devotion services very nicely. And for women, they should just sincerely serve their husband, like that Prabhupada explained. So here, being the wife of a great personalities like Prithu, Lord Ramachandra, and Dhritarashtra, these were ideal chaste women. Such queens also instructed the general people by showing them how to become a chaste wife and follow the husband in every stage of life. So this is what is expected as per Vedic scriptures. Although she was not accustomed to such difficulties, Queen Archie followed her husband in the regulative principles of living in the forest like great sages. She lay down on the ground and ate only fruits, flowers, and leaves. And because she was not fit for these activities, she became frail and thin. Yet, because of this, the pleasure she derived in serving her husband, she did not feel any difficulties. So some days ago, we were reading the story from Srimad Bhagavatam about Devhuti and Kardamuni. So there also we have seen that how Devati Mata served her husband very nicely. And same story it's given there that Queen Archie served her husband very, very nicely, sincerely. So this is what is expected from a woman as far as Vedic scriptures are concerned. So in Vedic civilization, a man is taught from the beginning of his life to become a brahmachari, then then an ideal grasta, then a vanaprastha, then sannyasi, and the wife is taught just to follow the husband strictly in all conditions of life. Thus, when a girl and boy are united, they both are trained for a life dedicated for a higher purpose. So this is the purpose of marriage. Prabhupada explained that when they united, they should be trained for a higher purpose. When a husband takes the renounced order of life, namely sannyasa, the wife is to return home. Here, actually, here Prabhupada explained that when different parts of life came, different phases of life came, from Grasta to Vanprastha, from Vanprastha to Sannyas, how the wife, what is the role of the wife in that part? The boy is trained, yeah, we'll read from here. The boy is trained to execute his duty in according with the higher purpose of life, and the girl is trained to follow him. The chaste wife duty is to keep her husband pleased in household life in all the respects. And when the husband retires from family life, she is to go to the forest and adopt the life of Vanaprastha or Vanavasi. At that time, the wife is to follow her husband and take care of him, just as she took care of him in household life. But when the husband takes the renounced order of life named sannyasa, the wife is to return home and become a saintly woman, setting an example for her children and daughter-in-laws and showing them how to live a life of austerity. So this is how our Bhagavatam explained. And now the story of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, his wife Vishnu Priya Devi, although only 16 years old, also took a vow of austerity due to her husband leaving home. She chanted her beads, and after finishing one round, she collected 1 grain of rice. In this way, as many rounds she chanted, she would receive the same number of rice grains and then cook them and so take prasada. This is called austerity. So we are not to imitate these great people, great movement, but should see that what our Acharyas has given, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given through his own example. When one engages in austerity, his body generally becomes lean and thin. Becoming fat is not a very good qualification in spiritual life because a person who is engaged in spiritual life must reduce the comforts of body, namely eating, sleeping, and mating, to a minimum. Although Queen Archie became very thin from living in the forest, according to regulative principles, she was not unhappy, for she was enjoying the honor of serving her great husband. So this is a very, very, like you can see, a check mark in our life. While doing our devotional service activities, are we feeling pleasure or are we not feeling pleasure? Our heart will tell. Everybody's heart will tell. So if we are seeing that we are getting very much pleasure in serving our activities, devotional service, and it should come naturally. We should not feel burdened. Every day I have to get up, do Mangalarti. Every day I have to get up, do chanting. Every day I have to cook. Every day I have to offer boga. It's very easy to order to Swiggy. See my friend, they are very easily ordered in Swiggy and eating. They don't have to do Mangalarti. It's so much burden reading Bhagavatam, giving class, attending class, this yatra, that yatra. If we are feeling burdened, then we see that something is wrong. But it should eventually it should give us more and more pleasure. And more many devotees I saw, they are very, very having always blissful. So I'm actually seeing them, and sometimes I am also feeling that why I am not getting that pleasure. That means I am not very, very sincere. So I should become more and more sincere. So somewhere I have to improve. When Queen Archie saw that her husband, who had been so merciful to her and the earth, no longer showed symptoms of life, she lamented for a little while and then built a fiery fire on top of a hill and placed the body of her husband on it. So this is the explain that although now Prithu Maharaj has left his body, but his wife is doing. Although symptoms of life, action, intelligence, sense, perception has ceased and stated, Dainosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara yatha dehantarha praptim dhiras satra namuyate. So you see that Maharaj Prithu is here described as Daita. For not only was he the king of earth, but he treated the earth as his protected child. So this is the duty of king actually. He should become king and he should give protection to everything, not only humans. even to land, even to animals, everything. Yeah. Text 22. After this, the queen executed the necessary bundle functions and offered oblations of water. After breathing in the river, she offered obeisances to various demigods situated in the sky in the different planetary systems. She then circumlated the fire and, while thinking of the lotus feet of her husband, enters its flames. So this entrance of chaste wife into flames of the fire of her dead husband is known as Saha Mukamana, which means dying with the husband. The system of Sahagamna had been practiced in Vedic civilization from time immemorial. Even after British period in India, this practice was rigidly observed. But soon it degraded to the point that even when the wife was not strong enough to enter the fire of her dear husband, the relative would force her to enter. Thus, this practice had to be stopped. But even today, there are still some solitary cases where the wife will voluntarily enter the fire and die with her husband. Even after 1940, we personally knew of a chaste wife who died in this way. Where Prabhupada is explaining that normally it was a part of Vedic culture, but in today's world it's not able to practice, so it's stopped now. And actually, it was not even compulsory. Like we see the example of Maharaj Kunti Maharani. Her husband left his body and she didn't follow that. So there are many examples where it was optional, it was never compulsion. And we don't depend on the time, place, and circumstances. After observing this brave act performed by the chaste wife Archie, the wife of the great king Prithu, many thousands of wives of the demigods, along with their husbands, offered prayers to the queen, for they were very much satisfied. This is how we see that even demigods are coming to pray queen, because they were very, very satisfied by her, what she did. Next. All at the time, the demigods were situated on the top of Mandra hill, and all their wives began to shower flowers on the funeral pyre and began to talk among themselves as follows. Now we see that our demigods are also getting tension that we are not able to achieve what she is achieving, or both of them are achieving. The wife of demigods said, "All glories to Queen Archie." We can see that this queen of the great king Prithu, the emperor of all the kings of the world, has served her husband with mind, speech, and body, exactly as the goddess of fortune serves her husband, supreme personality of Godhead, Yagnesha or Vishnu. Prabhupada explained that Yajnesham Shri Vadum Iva indicates that Queen Archie served her husband just as the goddess of fortune serves the supreme personality of Godhead, Vishnu. So this is how Prabhupada explained the wife is supposed to serve her husband. In the Vedic civilization, the husband and wife were not separated by such man-made laws as divorce. We should understand the necessity for maintaining family life in human society and should thus abolish this artificial law known as divorce. The husband and wife should live in the Krishna consciousness and follow in the footsteps of Lakshmi Narayana or Krishna Rukmini. In this way, peace and harmony can be possible within this world. Now, if anybody of us who is following the war going on in Israel and the opposite Ghana terrorists they are attacking, so if we start uh, analyzing the life of these people who become terrorists, we'll see that they are not coming from a very nice family. So here Prabhupada explained that we should understand the necessity for maintaining family life in human society. So family life is very much required to give culture to children. Otherwise, they can be programmed to become a terrorist, such a horrible terrorist. If anybody of you following that, they're they're not humans. They're actually animals in the body of humans. So the wives of demigods continue. Just see how this chaste lady, achieved by dint of her inconceivable pious activities, is still following her husband upwards as far as we can see. Here it's very nice. Prabhupada explained that. Since they were carried out by two separate airplanes, it may be concluded that even after being burned in the funeral pyre, they remain separate persons. In other words, they do not lose their individual, become void as imagined by the impersonal. And also, Prabhupada explained that Ordinary men cannot even take to the devotional service of the Lord, nor can ordinary women maintain such a vows of chastity and follow their husbands in all respects. A woman does not need to attain high qualifications, but if she simply follow in the footsteps of her husband, who must be a devotee, then both husband and wife attain liberation and promoted to the Vaikuntha Lokas. And moreover, in this translation, there is one more point that the I will explain that they were seeing the wives of demigod, they were seeing down, the fire is there, they both get burned, and they were being taken by the aeroplanes to the higher planets. So actually they were in between. So Prabhupada explained that Vaikuntha is on a very high level, even beyond this Brahmaloka. In this material world, every human being has a short span of life. But those who are engaged in devotional service go back home, back to Godhead, for they are actually on the path of liberation. For such purpose, there is nothing which is not available. This is the best end to which human life can be put. Yeah. The Lord here declares that material world is full of miseries, sukham, and at the same time is very flickering, anityam. Therefore, one's duty is to engage himself in devotional service. This is the best end to which human life can be put. So if somebody asks you, what are you doing? Why you are chanting? Why you are reading Bhagavatam? Why you are doing all these things? You can simply tell them, this is the best way to live life and best way to end life. And if you know something better than that, please tell us. So even if they did research for billions of years, they could not find anything better than that. That's all. Very simple. Generally, the process of jnana, yoga, and karma are executed life after life before one gets a chance to render pure devotional service to the Lord. So this is actually a general statement. But now you see, Prabhupada is the mercy of Acharya is that he has given chance to render devotional service to us, and it's just like a shortcut. You don't have to go all this process of jnana, yoga, karma, billions of life. No, it's very shortcut. So this is called mercy process. When some great person pray for us, great person bless us, then all these things are being bypassed. Yeah, yeah, it's very nice. We compare Pritumara to demigods. Yeah. This chance is given by the grace of pure devotee, and it is in this way only that one can actually attain liberation. In the context of this narration, the wives of demigod repented because they had the opportunity of a birth in a higher planetary system, a lifetime spanning millions of years, and all material comforts, they were not as fortunate as Prithu Maharaj and his wife, who were actually surpassing them. So if anyone of us is lamenting that we are born in India, not in America they are having more pleasures, more comforts, we should see that here Prabhupada is comparing devotees with demigods. They are having all the facilities at their disposal, long life, no disease. Still they are lamenting. They are repentant. The wives are repentant. Because devotion is the highest thing you can see from here. Text 28 translation. Any person who engages himself within this material world in performing activities that necessitate great struggle, and who, after obtaining a human form of life, which is a chance to attain liberation from miseries, undertakes the difficult task of fruitive activities, must be considered to be cheated and envious of his own self. And who, after obtaining a human form of life, which is a chance to attain liberation, undertake the difficult task of fruitive activities. Yeah. So here Prabhupada is explaining that we should not waste our human form of life. Actually, it's like committing a suicide. Although soul cannot be killed, but it's like committing a suicide. They are engaged in performing very costly sacrifices in order to promote Buddha. Yeah. The karmis are engaged in performing very difficult activities, and thus they open gigantic factory, build huge make here we in the structure of the design. It took a lot and lot and lot of efforts in the movement. So nice. Just their personal health and whatnot. Anytime they and artificial development. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. One time actually somebody asked Prabhupada, I saw this spiritual life falling spiritual life very difficult. I say, yeah, it could be difficult, but material life is impossible. I don't know how one is engaged in performing very difficult tasks simply for the gratification of senses. All of these are considered to be engaged in sensory gratificatory activities. The bhaktas, however, are not interested in sense gratificatory practices. They are simply satisfied to get an opportunity to serve the Lord. Although they are satisfied in any condition, there is nothing they cannot obtain because they are purely engaged in service of the Lord. So this is all. So for them, for devotees, it doesn't matter where they are. Their whole duty is to serve Lord Krishna. That's all. So for devotees, it doesn't make much difference. Yeah. Here from Bhagavatam, Prabhupada explained the word Atmaha. When one want to cross a large ocean, yeah, this material world is considered, or many times this analogy comes of a great ocean and a boat. So he requires a strong boat. It is said that human form of life is a good boat by which one can cross the ocean of nescience. In human form of life, one can obtain the guidance of good navigator, the spiritual master. One also gets a favorable wind by the mercy of Krishna, and that wind is the instruction of Krishna. The human body is a boat, the instruction of Lord Krishna is the favorable winds, and the spiritual master is the navigator. The spiritual master knows well how to adjust the sails to catch the winds favorably and steer the boat to its destination. But here Prabhupada is giving warning. If, however, one does not take advantage of this opportunity, one wastes the human form of life. Wasting time and life in this way is same as committing suicide. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained that Manusya Janma Paya Radha Krishna Na Bhajiro Chaniya Shuniya Vishakhaino. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that even after attaining a human form of life, we are not worshipping Radha Krishna. They are actually eating poison, janbujke. Intentionally we are eating poison. Listen, so suicide, it's very difficult. Suicide is considered a very big level of crime. Srila Jeev Goswami advises that in this human form of life, one's only aim should go to go back home, back to Godhead. So this is the beauty of Prabhupada. Prabhupada actually brings everybody together. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jeev Goswami. So he's giving the instruction from all the great Vaishnavacharyas. So just by reading these Prabhupada books, we get mercy from everybody. One capsule packed, all the mercy is there. The great sage Maitreya continued speaking. My dear Vidura, when the wives of denizen heaven were thus talking among themselves, Queen Archie reaches the planet which her husband Maharaj Prithu, the topmost self-realized soul, had attained. So here it explained that the woman who dies with her husband or enter into fire in which her husband is burning also enters the same planet her husband attains. In this material world, there is a planet known as Patiloka, just as there is a planet known Pitraloka. But in this word, the word Patiloka does not refer to any planet within this material world. Yeah. So it's explained that for karmis, gyanis, materialistic, if they follow the process, but this queen follow of burning in the fire, she will attain the same planet called Patiloka and go with the Pati. But this, for being devotee, Prithu Maharaj and his wife, they both went to spiritual world, spiritual planet, not in this material world. So this is the difference. Yeah. Now we'll see what Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Now we'll take the blessing of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Those who want to take, please listen. According to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, also a husband and wife can turn the home into a place as good as Vaikuntha. even while in the material world. Being absorbed in Krishna consciousness, even in this world, husband and wife can live in Vaikuntha simply by installing the deity of the Lord within the home and serving the deity according to the direction of the Shastras. In this way, they will never feel the sex urge. That is the test of advancement devotion service. One who is advanced in devotion service is never attracted by sex life. And as soon as one becomes detached from sex life and proportionately attached to the service of the Lord, he actually experiences living in the Vaikuntha planet. In the ultimate issue, there is actually no material world. But when one forgets the service of the Lord and engages himself in the service of his senses, he is said to be living in the material world. Yeah. So these are the blessings of Bhakti Thakur, and it's very practical. And we should actually thank our present gurus, our Shiksha Gurus, Diksha Gurus, that they are given this opportunity. If you see, whatever Bhakti Thakur said at his time in the beginning of 19th century, now we can actually able to follow even today. That is a beauty what Prabhupada has given us. Mercy of Prabhupada. Next. Bhagavatama, the best among the lords. Maitreya continued, the greatest of all devotees, Maharaj Prithu, was very powerful and his character was liberal, magnificent and magnanimous. Thus I describe him to you as far as possible. So here Maitreya Muni continuing with Vidur. So in this word, the word Bhagwan should not be used for ordinary person. Yeah. Actually, Prabhupada explained here about the word that Bhagwan is used for great personalities also. Yeah. The word Bhagavad is used specially to refer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Bhagwan. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is derived from the word Bhagavat. Sometimes, however, we see that the word Bhagwan is used for the great personalities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Narad Muni. This is the case with Prithu Maharaj, who is described here as the best of the Bhagavatas or the best of the Lords. A person can be so addressed only if he is a great personality who exhibits extraordinary and uncommon features or who attains the greatest goal after the disappearance, or who knows the difference between the knowledge and ignorance. So here Prabhupada is telling that we can use word Bhagwan for great personalities, but generally it's used for Lord Krishna. Any person who describes the great characteristics of King Prithu with faith and determination, whenever he reads or hears of them himself or help others to hear of them, is certain to attain the very planet which Maharaj Prithu attained. In other words, such a person who also returns home to the Vaikuntha planet back to Godhead. So these are the blessings we are getting from Prabhupada, that even if we read, hear or help others to hear, we'll also attain the same type of destination which Maharaj Prithu has attained. See. So this is the beauty. This is why the Bhagavatam was given. This is how, when Krishna left this world, Krishna reappeared in the form of Bhagavatam, because what those people at the time of Krishna were able to do, or even they were doing so big austerities, we can get the same results just by reading Bhagavatam, just by helping others read Bhagavatam, just by listening to Bhagavatam. If you can't read, just listen. So there are so many options, and listening is very easy. It's a very beautiful, interesting story. You can listen. So, and there are many devotees who are struggling day and night to help us listen. So that's the bare minimum we should do. At least listen, read regularly. In the Shiva Purana, Lord Shiva recommended Vishnu worship to be the topmost worship. And that better than Vishnu worship is the worship of Vaishnava, or anything that is related to Vishnu. The Supreme Vaishnava is a spiritual master, and he is not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can even worship the Vaishnavas. We can even anything connected to Vishnu or Krishna. Sometimes the Sahajiya class of devotees are interested only in Krishna's personal pastime to execute the execution of the activities of the devotees. This type of devotee is not on a very high level. One who sees the devotee and the Lord on the same level has further progressed. Yeah. Sakshat samast shastre uktas tatha bhavyate sadvi kintu prabhuya piyaiva tasya ande gurushi charnaranta. If one hears of the characteristics of Prithu Maharaj and is a Brahmana, he became perfectly qualified with Brahminical powers. If he is a Kshatriya, he becomes the king of the worlds. And if he is a Vaishya, he becomes master of other Vaishyas and many animals. And if he is a Shudra, he becomes the topmost devotee. So this is a material opulent we are getting just by listening or hearing this fasting. But whether one is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra, he can get perfection simply by hearing and chanting. This is what Prabhupada is telling. Don't worry about all these 4 orders. Just chant and hear. Next. If it does not matter whether one is a man or woman, anyone who with great respect hears this narration of Maharaj Prithu will become the parent of many children, it would if without children, and will become the richest if without money. So who want to attain all this can also read this. Simply by hearing of the life and character of Maharaj Prithu, one can have both riches and children in enormous quantities. One simply has to read and understand the history of life of the activities of Prithu Maharaj. It is advised that one read them at least 3 times. Those who are materially afflicted will so benefit by hearing of the Supreme Lord and his devotees that they need not go to any demigod. Yeah. Here, however, it is stated Suprajatma that all the children thus attained would be qualified in education, wealth, beauty, and strength, everything complete. Yeah. So it's not just that we will get children, somebody will get children. They will be very, very qualified. So everything will be complete. Qualified, wealthy, beauty, and strength. Text 34. Also, one who hears this narration 3 times will become very reputable if he is not recognized in society. And he will become a great scholar if he is illiterate. In other words, hearing of the narration of Prithu Maharaj is so auspicious that it drives away all bad luck. So who want to make their life very lucky? Who want to get rid of the bad luck? Just hear Prithu Maharaj's story 3 times. That's all. Can you find anything easier than this? He become very famous and important if he takes to devotional service and preaching. But a devotee has no fear because devotional service is so auspicious that it automatically contracts all kinds of bad luck. Yeah. So I hope we all have experience after coming to devotional life, our life, all bad luck has automatically gone. I hope we all have experienced that. By hearing the narrations of Prithu Maharaj, one can become great, increase its duration of life, gain promotion to the heavenly planets, and counteract the contaminations of this age of Kali. In addition, one can promote the causes of religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Therefore, from all sides, it's advisable for a materialistic person who is interested in such things to read and hear the narrations of the life and character of the Prithu Maharaj. Very good. This is also very great blessings coming from Prabhupada to us. Text 36. If a king who is desirous of attaining victory and ruling power chants the narrations of Prithu Maharaj 3 times before going forth on his chariot, all subordinate kings will automatically render all kinds of taxes unto him as they render them unto Maharaj Prithu simply upon his order. This is a blessing for Kshatriyas. A pure devotee who is executing the different process of devotional service may be situated in the transcendental position, being completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness. But even he, while discharging devotional service, must read and induce others to hear about the character and life of Prithu Maharaj. Yeah. Such a devotee should know that the instruction that pastime of Prithu Maharaj are not different from the pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in Bhagavatam, it's like a sugar candy. You can taste it from anywhere. It's as sweet. So don't think. Yeah. Next. The great sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, I have so as far as possible spoken the narrations about Prithu Maharaj which enrich one's devotional attitude. Whoever takes advantage of these benefits also goes back to Godhead like Maharaj with you. So same place will attain just by reading and hearing this. Whoever with great reverence and adoration regularly reads, chants, and describes the history of Maharaj Prithu activities will certainly increase unflinching faith and attraction for the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord's lotus feet are the boat by which one can cross the ocean of Messians. So whoever want to increase their attraction to the lotus feet of Lord, you should read this regularly. The word Vimukta Sangha is also significant in this connection because they associate with the 3 qualities of material nature Our position in this material world is full of dangers, but when we engages in the devotional service of the Lord by the process of Shravanam and Kirtanam, we immediately become Vimukta Sangha or liberated. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 4th canto, 23rd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Maharaj Pritu going back to home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So I beg forgiveness from all of you. If I speak anything wrong, please correct me and please forgive for taking a lot of your time. But actually, chapter was very, very long and I tried to cut short as far as possible. Please instruct me how I can improve further. With this hope, I just leave this session open to anyone who want to comment. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for giving a wonderful session and how to deal in our last phase of our life, how to dedicate, concentrate on. Thank you very much for the session, Prabhuji.
This is Prabhupada mercy. Ritu Maharaj mercy coming till from Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada. Thank you very much for
Thank you, Mother, for hearing.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. No questions, we will close the session. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.